At some point, almost everyone asks themselves a difficult question. Why am I still in the same place? You promised yourself things would change. You planned to improve, to grow, to move forward. Yet somehow you are still here. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. The goals are still there. The intentions are still there. But the results are not. Most people assume the problem is motivation. They believe they just need more energy, more discipline, or more inspiration. But the truth is often much harder to accept, and that truth might be the real reason you feel stuck. Progress rarely stops because of one big mistake. It usually stops because of many small patterns repeated quietly over time. Patterns that feel harmless in the moment, but slowly shape the direction of your life. The uncomfortable truth is this: many people are not trapped by circumstances. They are trapped by habits they refuse to confront. Habits that slowly drain their focus and energy. Habits that make change feel impossible. Procrastination, constant distraction, waiting for the perfect moment. These behaviors seem small on their own, but together they quietly steal years from your life. You might think you were waiting for the right opportunity, but sometimes what you are really doing is avoiding discomfort, because growth almost always begins with discomfort, and the mind naturally tries to escape it. You know what? Your brain is designed to protect you from effort. It prefers easy rewards over difficult progress. This is why scrolling on a phone feels easier than focused work, why comfort feels better than discipline. The brain constantly searches for the path of least resistance. It pushes you toward habits that require the smallest amount of effort, even when those habits move you further away from your goals. This is not a personal failure. It is simply how human psychology works. But understanding this pattern is important, because what feels natural is not always what helps you grow. If you never question these patterns, they quietly become your normal routine. And over time, your routine becomes your identity. You start believing that this version of life is simply who you are. The turning point begins with awareness. You start noticing the patterns that keep repeating, the distractions that constantly interrupt your focus, the excuses that delay important decisions. Instead of ignoring them, you confront them honestly. You ask yourself difficult questions. Where am I wasting time? What behavior keeps pulling me backwards? Change rarely begins with dramatic action. It begins with small corrections. A decision to remove one distraction. A decision to focus for a short period each day. These small corrections may seem insignificant at first, but repeated consistently, they reshape your daily routine. And when your routine changes, your results begin to change too. Many people try to change their lives by setting bigger goals, but goals alone rarely transform behavior. Real change happens when identity begins to shift. Instead of asking, "What do I want to achieve?" you begin asking a different question. What kind of person do I need to become? A focused person protects their attention. A disciplined person keeps small promises to themselves. A consistent person shows up even on difficult days. When you begin acting like that person, even in small ways, something changes. Your habits start aligning with a new identity, and slowly your life begins moving in a new direction. Being stuck is rarely permanent, but staying stuck requires one thing: continuing the same patterns that created the situation. The moment you interrupt those patterns, the future begins to shift. Not instantly, but gradually through consistent action. Change does not come from waiting for motivation. It comes from recognizing the truth about your habits and deciding that those habits will no longer control your direction. The brutal truth about being stuck is this: your patterns created the situation, but that also means your patterns can change it. The question is no longer why things haven't changed. The real question is what kind of person you are willing to become. Because once you recognize the patterns keeping you stuck, a deeper question appears. What kind of person do you actually need to become to build a different life? In the next video, we explore the person you need to become if you want real change to happen.